Firstly, thank you everyone for making the effort to come out today. My name's Tim Windever. I look after the Trend Micro business as a BDM at Predictor Data. Today, we've got three presenters as advertised. Jack is going to go first from StorageCraft, followed by Nick McClooney and then Roland Leggat. Jack is a technical director, long-term guy in the industry, writes papers that are now used all around the world, so a pretty good expert here from today. Followed by Mick McClooney, Technical Director at Trend Micro, looks after the pre-sales team. Again, Trend Micro 3 years, 10 plus years in the security industry, and some good things to talk about today. Finally, we got Roland Leggat as our keynote for today. Roland is an ex-Office 365 evangelist from Microsoft. Spent many years traveling around, spruiking everything Office 365. He's currently working as a contract CTO in the not-for-profit sector. Has recently completed a transformation project in security and around personal identifiable information, and is here today to tell us how you as the channel can work with organisations and the C-suite to position yourselves to help with the new mandatory data breach laws. Please hold your questions to the end. We're going to finish with some Q&A and we'll have everybody up at the front. We just want to make sure for those that need to get away can get away without delay. And with that, I'm going to pass to Jack, and thanks again for coming.
Good morning, folks. How are we all? Hey, excellent. Good stuff. Let's have a bit of fun with this, because while it is an extremely serious thing, it is also, we can have a few laughs at a few errors that I see around the place. Take it for what it's worth, folks. I still think, like a contractor, after 12 years with StorageCraft, still think exactly the same way. To the extent where I struggle with a lot of businesses today, reseller style businesses, that still don't understand what it is to provide managed services. I was doing that 15 years ago. Okay? I still struggle with people that just don't get that little picture. And that's where the whole scenario today is based on. So we'll move on from there. This is my little bit of a slide that I want to deal with. I've got a few slides to go with this. Prevention is always better than any cure. Backups, we're going to talk about raw, unstructured, cloud-based email systems, and the one that really scares me is the Mobile Warriors one. I'll tell you a little story about that one when I get to it. Okay. Folks, a lot of people go backup. Well, backup is only a portion of the security scenario that you need to take into account. Okay? It is valid. It is important. So you've got to start dealing with data breaches from whatever. And I've mentioned a few things here. Firewall, monitoring, malware, software, RDP hacks. I know of a partner who lost 10 customers in one day because of something stupid. He port forwarded 3389 to a server. Have a guess what his username was? Admin. And what was his password? Okay? We laugh about this, but you go out and start doing port scans against some of your customers and find out what's actually open on their firewall. And you will probably run screaming into the corner and hide in the cupboard going, who the heck set this up? I see it too many times. We might laugh about it, but it is deadly serious. Okay, ransomware. We all know that stuff. They made a big hoo-ha in the media about middle of last year. It's been going on, for as far as I know, for 7 or 8 years. Basically they're in conjunction with the other two speakers we have here today, Roland and Tim. Sorry, wrong names. Mick. My apologies, Mick. We're going to show you some bits and pieces that will help you out. Just this little bit down the bottom here. I wrote a white paper some 7 years ago about how to deal with CryptoLocker. Okay? From a user's perspective, a system administrator's perspective inside their organization. I've updated it 3 times since then. Take it, pull it apart, use parts of it. Some customers will go, oh, but I can't update Chrome or something. You go, so what? All right, I'll put an exception in for that. I know it's a software exception. But for crying out loud, do this, because the way ransomware works is it relies on your stupidity of your customers. Okay? Quick example, in our own organisation, this young lady that was working for us opened up this email that says your itinerary. And you know what happened? The computer ended up on the floor real quick. All right, we picked it up in about 2 minutes. I said, why did you click on it? She goes, oh, I thought it might have been something interesting for me. You know? She wasn't going on a holiday or anything. So please, let's be serious about some of this stuff. Folks, this story has never changed. This story has not changed since NT351 days. Anybody remember those days? They're ugly. Yeah? You gotta have 3 copies of your data. You must have the 3 copies. It is critical. A lot of people today have 2. Okay? They forget about the 3rd one. You need to have the 3. You gotta have the raw data. Okay? You have to have the local copy of that data as a backup in a format that is required. Okay? Encryption, for example. Okay? It's got to be encrypted. How many places I go and their backups are not encrypted in any way, shape or form? That on-site copy gives you the ability to recover, obviously, files, folders, services, and servers if you require. That off-site copy must be stored somewhere securely. Okay? In the secretary's handbag as a USB hard drive is not considered off-site. Okay? You can see all the bits and pieces. These backups are replicated to a secured location, preferably a cloud solution. Why? Because they put a lot of security around those things. You know, secret passwords and secret keys and whatever to use. Amazon, for example. All right? The products we can help you there with, obviously, is SBX, as we all know it, Image Manager, which deals with the replication. StorageCraft Cloud Services, if you're looking for, off-site DR, but AWS and Azure, I can help you back up to those. Not a problem. Let's talk about it. Get it stored in those environments. Okay? I find this one to be a really interesting conversation about how many of your customers have got this strange idea that because it's in the cloud, it's secure. You know? Some people look at me and sometimes I say, you know what you've just done? You've taken that piece of tin from your back office underneath the kitchen bench or wherever, or in that cupboard down the back that used to be a broom cupboard and now we've got a vent in the top of it. All you've done is taken that piece of tin and stuck it in somebody else's shed. Okay, them sheds are a little well built and whatever else. Okay? But it is still tin sitting somewhere. Okay? They put a lot of security around it, but there are still major issues. And so right here, the thing I'm going to talk about, long-term backup of all contacts, email, SharePoint, whatever, Google Docs, don't care. With Mick's help, okay, the right front-end protection of both the client and online mail servers, you still need to back up. Why do you need to back up? It's notifiable data breaches. That's what we're all here today to talk about, aren't we? The number of people that without a reliable backup copy of all of this stuff leave themselves vulnerable. I can quote a story from a few years ago, obviously. This particular organisation back then was sort of turning over like $1 million an hour, okay? Without email, they were sort of, screwed. He needed to find one email from the last 6 months to prove a case. He was taken to court by a vendor. He delivered this email, proved it was sent, everything else, and the judge says, I'll rule in your favour. And he got a return. I don't know what else you put it, a damages claim. He was paid somewhere in the vicinity of $10 million for this whole defamation thing. Backup. Absolutely critical. But today, front-end protection. Use the trend. Use it. Okay? Set it up. Make it work. The other one that I find very interesting is this bottom one. Make sure the method that you use does not allow for any deletions whatsoever from that off-site backup archival solution. Our solution that we have, just for example, and I always describe it this way because basically that's what it is. It's a bucket. It's an Amazon S3 bucket. Whatever goes into that bucket cannot be removed in any way, shape or form. You can copy things out of it to restore, but you cannot remove anything. It is stored as unstructured data to make your searches very, very simple, but it is unstructured. And it's in a bucket with a one-way valve on it. Okay? You cannot delete from it. That today, in my opinion, is also super critical. Okay? But remember, front-end protection, you've got to have it. You seriously must have it. This is the one that I find the most interesting. I call them mobile warriors. Blokes like me. Every second week I'm on the road somewhere. You know them. I'm just going to read this out. How many of your customers actually back up laptops? Seriously. Think about it. How many of them? Not a lot. No? How can we back it up, this critical company data, in a smart way that just small changes are sent off to the cloud? My laptop, for example, that I use on the road, I use a product of ours called FBR, which is the product I'm referring to here, down there at number 3. Basically, you put the software on there, it analyzes the computer, sends the analyzed file up, and you select just what you want. Because I'll ask a simple question. You want all your PDFs backed up? And everybody goes, absolutely. I said, including the EULAs from all the partners, from all the vendors? No, I don't want them. So you can select what you want. But here's the interesting stuff. You set it up correctly. Ransomware cannot delete the files on a laptop, which can delete the copies in the cloud. Okay? You actually put on this system, you tick the box to say deletions are not allowed. So that if a guy's got critical company data and then decides to leave or ransomware takes over, it cannot be deleted out of the cloud. Okay? Some answers here, folks. I'm going to give you a couple of stories about this one. Good AV, I still don't think that's the right word today. AV is an old word, but, malware, whatever you want to call it. Encryption at rest at the disk level. BitLocker. Just plain old simple Microsoft BitLocker. How many of your customers actually use it? Not a lot. I want to protect it. Our FBR tool obviously does these sorts of things. Just what you select goes to the cloud, and then there are changes, just small differential files are sent to the cloud. My laptop has, I think, total about 20 gig of data on it, and I'm actually backing up 274 meg to the cloud. That is important, critical stuff. Okay? That's it. Now, I want to talk about this one because this one, in my opinion, is the biggest breach ever. Just Sunday, just gone, I was talking to a real estate person. We were having a bit of a coffee about a few bits and pieces, and he dragged out his laptop and fired it up. And I just simply said to him, is that backed up? He goes, no. Is it encrypted? He goes, no. And I said, so one final question. Your company data you got sitting on there, which is a company's database, he has a copy of the database sitting on his laptop with every username, email address, phone number, physical address for everybody he's ever dealt with. I said, you do realise that if somebody takes his laptop, he said, oh, it's password protected. I said, I don't really care. I'll pull the hard drive out of it. I'll plug it into my computer. Okay? I have instantly full access to every scrap of company data you have. Notifiable data breach. What do you reckon is going to happen to them? Seriously. Notifiable data breach will put him out the back door that quick he won't be in business. Stupid. But look at it. Seriously look at it from the perspective of people's stupidity. I used to work with a guy. He left 2 laptops at airports. He threw one against the wall in a hotel in Perth because it wouldn't do something quick enough for him. And I think he left one in a taxi in 6 months. Critical company data? Absolutely. Please, folks, this is what it's all about. In conjunction with our other speakers today, it is important you take a lot of these things into account. Okay? And that's not happening.